This week, I asked a question that's been on my mind for years. If Lean, the Toyota production system, Six Sigma, and continuous improvement have been available to American manufacturers for decades, why have so few organizations achieved the kind of transformation we associate with companies like Toyota? I've spent over 20 years in manufacturing asking myself that question. I've worked in aerospace, defense, automotive, electronics, battery manufacturing, fabrication, and advanced manufacturing. I've watched organizations invest enormous amounts of money training people in Lean. People leave excited. They come back inspired, and then very little changes. Why is that? I don't think it's because the tools failed. I think we've misunderstood something much deeper. I think geography shaped culture. Not completely, but enough that it matters. Japan developed as an island nation. Space is finite. Natural resources are limited. Historically, efficiency wasn't optional. It was survival. That environment helped foster management systems that emphasized eliminating waste, careful planning, standardization, and preventing problems before they occurred. Now think about America. We've had land, we've had opportunity, we've had room to experiment. Our history celebrates pioneers, inventors, entrepreneurs, cowboys, explorers, people willing to risk everything. That willingness to act decisively built one of the most innovative manufacturing economies the world has ever seen. And I don't think we should lose that. I actually love that about America. We're builders, we're problem solvers. We admire courage. When something goes wrong, Americans don't usually stand around waiting. Somebody jumps in, somebody stays late, somebody figures it out, saves the shipment, gets production running again. That's who we celebrate. And honestly, we should. Those people care deeply. But here's where I think manufacturing accidentally got off course. We began designing organizations that depend on these heroes. Heroism became expected instead of exceptional. Every day became a rescue mission. Eventually, people began wearing burnout like a badge of honor. This is where I think we've unintentionally misunderstood Lean. Lean never said don't care. Lean said, build systems so caring doesn't require constant heroics. There's a huge difference. Toyota didn't eliminate passionate people. It creates systems where passionate people spend their time improving tomorrow instead of rescuing today. That's brilliant. But here's the challenge. Americans don't naturally celebrate prevention. We celebrate the firefighter, the emergency room doctor, the military veteran, the mechanic who somehow got the machine running again, the engineer who stayed until midnight. Those are our cultural heroes. So when somebody quietly prevents an emergency from ever occurring, nobody notices. There's no applause, no celebration, no employee of the month. Yet that invisible work may have created 10 times more value. Here's the uncomfortable question. What does your company actually reward? Think about it honestly. When somebody saves the day, what happens? They get recognized, praised, promoted, maybe even given a bonus. Now ask yourself, when someone prevents 20 emergencies that never happened, who even knows? That's not because leadership doesn't care. It's because prevention is invisible. Firefighting is visible, and organizations naturally reward what they can see. Over time, people respond to those incentives. They don't become selfish, they become rational. If heroics are celebrated and prevention is overlooked, people will naturally invest their energy where they believe it will be recognized. That's a leadership system issue, not a character flaw. This is where I think the Holy Grail method fits. I'm not asking America to become Japan. I'm asking America to become the best version of itself. Keep our creativity, our innovation, keep our courage, our determination, but align leadership so these strengths are directed towards prevention, trust, learning, and continuous improvement instead of constant rescue missions. Because here's something I've learned over more than 20 years. You cannot build a world-class manufacturing organization if your operating system depends on daily heroics. Eventually, the heroes burn out. Eventually, trust erodes. Eventually, improvement gets postponed because today's emergencies always win. That's why I call it radical alignment. Not because it's radical, because it aligns everything. Leadership decisions, daily priorities, recognition, communication, improvement, trust, your mission statement, your actual culture, all moving in the same direction. When those things align, Lean finally has the environment it needs to flourish. Maybe the better question is, how do we build manufacturing systems that honor American strengths while creating the kind of leadership alignment that allows continuous improvement to thrive? I believe that's the future of American manufacturing, not copying another country, not rejecting what we've learned from them, learning from the best, then building something uniquely American. Because American manufacturing doesn't need fewer heroes, it needs fewer emergencies. And when leadership creates organizations where prevention is celebrated as much as heroism, that's when we stop merely surviving and start leading the world again. If you believe America can lead the world in manufacturing again, join me, join the movement.